here is a gift for our new year. I created this today, which is like the Friday, the 31st of December, and I called it Blue Fire and Arcturius. So I created this sketch on New Year's Eve, which is Friday this year, 2021. And it's been a really strange year for me. Mostly reworking on my foundations and trying to get a really good ground in the material world for me to be able to plant seeds. It's not been an easy year because this process has really required me to return over and over to my internal energy state and relook at what I am creating and why. I have a feeling that this process will continue well into 2022. And as a person who really dislikes reworking over something over and over and over until I get a result, I was pleased with the process of creating this triangle as some sort of inspiration for 2022. I really hope that you can use it this way too, and as an inspiration for the new to come into your life and all the processes you are going through. So to tell you a little bit more about this sketch and how it came about, I've been working with blue a great deal in the last 2 years. I seem to transition from pink and violet, which if you've been following my artworks, I do a lot of pink and violet, soul ray colors. And I've been transitioning from that into blue, and especially when I relocated to my home to the south of England in East Sussex, which is much closer to the homeland resonance of where I grew up. And I noticed that because I was doing this reconnection, I seemed to be reconnecting to my ancestors and the elementals of this land, which are very talkative to me. And don't worry, I'm going to get to the 2022 message that comes from the Arcturians with this sketch. I just want to set the scene of how it becomes relevant and comes about. So coming back to the sketch, the blue frame is landing in our consciousness from 2022 onwards. And this is part channeled message as a gift from the Arcturians as we go through this massive transition cycle on Earth. People might think that this is a small transition relating to a few years or lifetimes, but we are in a transition period that spans generations of time and people. And we are moving from a huge holding time period in the cycle of humanity and transitioning into the next cycle. So to give you an idea of what this kind of time period is like, we are spanning the time from Atlantis, the Atlantis epoch, which covers many movements of the planet and evolution of the species. I'm just going to make my spellings a bit bigger. So, and empires have risen and fallen in human time, and there have been many great evolvements in the elemental kingdoms and realms too. So this transition relates to the great conjunction of the stars and says we are now ready, which is ready for the change and for something new to occur. A transition period can be a time of chaos and uncertainty and can last as little as a nanosecond or many, many thousands of years. I feel like we are in a fractal of 1,000 years where 100 years will hold the insensitivity of chaos needed for outer change to settle. And once all the internal reactions have completed. So something new and very different is going to evolve from this, leading us into the new age. And the life cycle of a human is relatively short. When we think about it, we've got like a maximum maybe of 100 years, but an average of much less. And many of us will not witness the result unless we reincarnate or we come back in spirit form to assist, which many of us will. But essentially, we're here for this snapshot, this lifetime, this moment in time to contribute in this transition period. So at this point, the Arcturians are offering us the gift of blue fire, which is what the sketch is about. And it's a way of enhancing the new light grid on the Earth. And this light grid has been restructuring and requires stabilizing, while the blue fire and will help us to do that. And the blue fire is very different from the violet flame in the way it invigorates new patterns of being and brings in the softer elements of time-space, making them more elastic in our perceptions and easier to access, particularly in the lower dimensions. And this fire will only be consciously experienced and felt by individuals who have been able to master their senses beyond the third dimension. And this will be affected, and these people will also be adversely affected by the frequency transmissions happening on Earth during this time period. At this time, lower frequencies are being applied on the Earth towards the human and animal and plant families and species. And there is a kind of vortex pulling down the lower vibrations into the Earth, as if it's being sucked into the center. And what they're showing me is like a sort of whirlpool that's going down into the physicality of the Earth. And it's a sort of attempt to remove personal will. And the will of the human being is actually under attack. And these vibrations will be felt and experienced by people, but they will be mostly unaware of the goal of these attacks, which will be motivated by a kind of massive stonewall behaviors. Now, I tried to get more information about what a stonewall behavior is, but they just keep showing me like where information is jammed and people can't get the information they need through their senses. So sensitive individuals will need to layer up their immune system and realign to a lighter grid structure that's being created so that they can retain their own health and well-being. In fact, well-being is going to be a major focus as we're going forward. So the plant kingdom, our friends, the plants, are undergoing their own revibration process. I was reassured that they can do this and they can recalibrate. The plants are very strong. The plants have their own network, their own ecosystem, and are able to cope with these changes. The animals will require help from us. So the Arcturian said the animals will need help from both plant kingdom and humans, due to the lower frequencies being particularly difficult for them. So these lower frequencies are, essentially an attack on the animal part of the human energy system, and particularly our sensitivity and our nervous systems. So we may witness, as time goes on, a lot of desensitization of the species. I know this has been going on, but we're going to see more of this. And that's going to be both for the human and the animal, in order for the animals to just be able to cope and survive here, and many humans, we're going to see this. And they will also have to adapt. The animals will, but it will be a cause of suffering, I think, for many of us. So this is why this sketch is showing me this blue fire is going to become quite important to us as time goes on. So the blue fire is being used on the Earth to those who want to call upon it and allow it to move through their bodies and energy systems. Blue relates to the planet Saturn, and the blue that we're talking about has this transcendental quality, and it enlivens and wakes up frequencies to help and assist the body to vibrate quicker and with more alignment to the divine masculine archetypes. The Arcturians communicate that bringing this to Earth, is sooner than they would have liked, but there are factors at play to make sure that this timing of these things is coherent, but the negative frequencies on the Earth are being amplified. So they wish to come and help and assist as many species as possible, even if they're not fully ready for this blue fire, which may come in generations, coming after us. So the time has become to begin as there is opening up of the earth structure to receive these new frequencies and for them to have a sense of coherency here now. If it had been done before, there is a danger of these frequencies misaligning and breaking up structures which were still needed and required. And stability is the important part of this process, and any process like this, especially in a transition, both for the earth and for the living species that are present here. So if I take you back to look at the sketch again, look, this is the triangle, is an alchemical symbol for fire. It's shown with the point upwards and the base downwards, where the fire is anchoring new energy from higher dimensions into the physical matter of the earth through our light structures. So our physical bodies may be unable to hold these particles in them as yet, but we are being slowly programmed to the new earth grid, and that will help with this stability over time. We are actually creating something new here, which will evolve over millions and billions of Earth years, but in this initial phase, it all seems new. So the sketch has light codes written in white around the edges and the ellipse of the triangle. These messages are light codes, as if a spell. So bringing in the sacred fire to our personal location, we are being used as transmitters of the fire within this coded spell. It allows us to raise our personal collective frequency safely. However, the Arcturians tell me that the fire is based on free will and will only be used for individuals who ask for it to be present in their energy structure. And the reason for this is due to the nature of what it does, and a rapid evolvement of personal awareness is often experienced as a result of using the fire, and not every individual will find this comfortable or necessary for their enjoyment of life. And we are bringing it to Earth now, as more light bearers are coming to Earth and will be necessary for their frequency to have a reservoir or access to higher light frequencies, or they will burn up on entry into this denser vibrations. So look, this blue light is helpful both to the divine masculine archetype, and it will be very soothing for the emotions and helpful to sensitivity, which is returning to the human planet, the human beings of this planet. Thought forms will be dissipated more easily, and we will begin to see the structure of new ideas and of innovations vibrating at higher frequencies, creating thoughts and new structures. And we will then see the birth of new ideals on our planet. So the Arcturians wish that this gift be with you and anyone else who might need it. I offer my blessings for 2022. And I will also create a meditation if I'm able to link to the blue fire, which should be kind of channeling through in January. And I'll put it up on my website, EarthMotherStarChild.co.uk, to purchase if you're interested. And the sketch is also available if you'd like a copy. Just message me. Okay. Blessings to you and good luck for 2022.